at the end of it all, I realized that, I can't go ask Gavin Franklin to sing these songs. I gotta do it myself.
Right.
And by that time, Brandon and I had a pretty strong dialogue,
right.
As to what was going on. I guess some of the late night conversations we had in each other's hotel rooms and stuff. I knew it. I heard it coming out of my mouth. It was like late night discussions leading to a hotel room.
It's perfectly natural.
Well,
we're all people.
Ask me about Chuck. But anyway, it kind of served as pre-production in a sense.
Sure.
There were times where I wanted him to please write this bridge. Will you just, and there was just a silence, like as if to say, no, this is, man, I'll pull you out of the trench, but I'm not jumping in there with you. You gotta do it yourself, boy.
Exactly. These are your tunes. Make it happen.
Well, the cool thing is that the first night that we, quote unquote, like set up in the studio, we actually just listened to a bunch of music we liked.
Nice.
For a few hours. And aside from the boring technical aspects of why Brandon would want to do that, it really did kind of loosen things up. And you kind of just wax on about what you like, and not as if to set out we're going to emulate this and that, but it's a dialogue. It just kind of it's a point of reference.
Right.
That was pretty cool. And just with what aside from Brandon producing the record, just. I never said, hey, I kind of want you to play the bass this way. So I didn't even say anything.
Sure.
And when Jane, hi Dwayne.
Jane.
Hey Jane.
Dwayne, how are you?
If I had any kind of notes, I was like, just play. But that was we were doing some of the tracks. It was like, do that. I like the Carlos Alomar part. Then you do the Robert Fripp, and like. Referring to a section of a song, that's the kind of sleazy Bowie,
right.
and shamelessly, because, hey.
But it doesn't sound like anything, any of them.
Sure.
It's not like we're copying them or
right.
anything. It's just,
no.
You go for a feel and a vibe,
right.
like an updated version of that.
Right. Which I think is super apparent on the record. I mean, it's not like anything's being sampled or taken from, but there's external influences that are. I mean, we all have that with any music that we make.
Sure.
No matter what it is. So.
Yeah. Well, especially I'm unabashed by it on this record.
Yeah.
It's just like that's kind of there was real sources of inspiration musically. I said in someone else, like, I'm not good enough to emulate anything. Like, I couldn't just go, I'm going to do Neil Young, it's just,
yeah, right.
I can't do that, so I can only interpret it, which makes it really fun.
Gotcha.
But, yeah, I'm not ashamed of it though. I was on the set for when Glaswegian band, I can't remember who they are, they were taping something for MTV, and I was with a rental company.
Oh yeah.
My beeper went off.
Yeah, sorry.
Who is that? Teenage Fan Club.
Nice.
Yeah. Just like, oh my God, damn it! I didn't even really know how it worked.
Right.
Yeah.
Dwayne, how did you approach your guitar parts for this record versus some of your past work, like with Tomahawk and Jesus and stuff like that?
Well, some of it I was basing it on what was already there,
Sure.
like on the demos, and trying to maybe step those up a little bit, or stylize them, or customize them a little more. And then others, you just kind of get the vibe of the song, and maybe I don't remember exactly, but maybe even verbally say, why don't I do this kind of a thing? And then,
sure.
I seem to be, I'm not stupid. I've been doing this a while, so I'm not going to say, oh, I think I'll go for a Randy Rhoads thing on this part right here.
That would be totally appropriate on this record.
Yeah, so
then when he was finished, I was like, how come you didn't do that Randy Rhoads thing?
Let's start over. Let's just like everything. So it's just, there's just a certain amount of intuitive kind of thing. At
Sure.
this stage, I've heard a lot of music and been playing a long time, so you kind of get a feel for what you think is right and what you think other people will like as well.
Gotcha.
That's a big part of it, especially when you're working on someone else's material. You want to do what you think they want to hear.
Sure, absolutely.
And kind of set your own ego aside somewhat.
As a bass player, I can understand that entirely.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But it's not to be like overly kind of hokey about it, or like these guys are such good friends, you know, but there's kind of this trust thing, you know.
yeah.
Instead of like, hey Dwayne, you know, I really want you to play on this record because of course I did. It's like, why don't you take a listen to this and see what you think, you know, and if you have time, it'd be great.
Right.
You know, and it's just like, at the same time, you know, I would never have expectations or never impose anything. It's just, it's Dwayne. Like, and we're all going to get together. I knew that Brandon and Dwayne were going to get along, and I
Sure.
get along well with Brandon. And, you know, sometimes it doesn't always, because you're friends, it doesn't always work.
Uh-huh.
But there was just a good sense. There was just kind of a good sense to it, you know, and it was kind of fun because I personally didn't have to worry about what was going to happen.
Right.
I'm like, if I wasn't worried about not liking what Dwayne did.
Right.
And then, you know, how do I say I don't like, you know.
Right.
It didn't
How do I
even,
tell Dwayne,
Brandon, I don't like this
sucks.
mix, you know, like
Right.
it just didn't, and that's what kind of made it fun, because it just made it so relaxed, and, you know, you get together with some people and you let them do what they do.